So as most of you already know, Jordan Peterson is pretty cooked now. He's pretty lame and gay. I used to be such a huge fan of this man. Like, I followed him before he got famous at the University of Toronto by talking to these transgender people on the university campus. I read his Maps of Meaning, which is the most intellectually demanding book he's made. That's the first one. I've read 12 Rules for Life, 12 More Rules. I've enjoyed this man's lectures, okay? I've attended them. But he is getting so controlled, okay? Like, working for Ben Shapiro has not done this man any good. I was hoping that his right-hand man, the little angel on his shoulder, Pajau, the Orthodox Pajau, or Pajau, however you pronounce that, I was hoping that he would actually do something beneficial for Jordan, but apparently it's only just added to Jordan Peterson's suit collection with Orthodox-themed suits for his interviews. But this latest tweet from him has really hit the nail in the coffin for my feelings towards him. And this is a tweet that he directed towards Nick Fuentes. Check this out. So Jordan tweets, "You, Nick J. Fuentes, really are a psychopathic rat." And this is in response to Nick responding to someone else saying, "Well, who controls the world? Who are these globalist intellectuals that we're talking about?" And he says Jews. But he responds to Jordan and says, "Coming from the strung-out crybaby who works for the decidal traitor Ben Shapiro, I shit on you. You are a fraud." But honestly, from a real point of view, Jordan Peterson used to be the guy that would make fun of other people for name-calling rather than having a serious debate. He has run from Nick. He will not debate Nick. He said, "I will debate Nick when hell freezes over." Like, he's being so immature and ridiculous. Like, he has gotten more immature since he has joined the Daily Wire, honestly. I mean, this is really upsetting. But for a lot of us in the Western culture that have been involved with Jordan Peterson, he's been somewhat of a gateway drug to Christianity for those that have been on the fence, or for those that have been atheists but otherwise curious, agnostic, right? But he hasn't moved his position. He's always had this Jungian point of view, right? Like, there's nothing that goes beyond the archetype. Everything is just divine archetypes, right? Like, not Christ consciousness, but that one can embody the role of Christ archetypically. There's no spiritual mythos that's involved. I think in recent interviews he's come a long way to say that he believes in the resurrection, but he's still a Jungian. He still has this Jungian disposition which limits him to a greater spiritual understanding. But the point is that you can't properly describe Christianity, Christ, the reality of Christ, through archetypes, through mythos, through symbolism purely, because there has to become a point when you, Jordan Peterson, actually take these things as a reality, a truth, uppercase T. These things need to be discussed as such, not as symbolism, not as archetype, not as mythos, right? So when you take this archetypal Jungian path, you limit yourself to the ultimate truth, and you always teeter along the border of reality. So he's done his purpose, in my estimation, of bringing people into the family through these, through the intellectualization of Jungian archetypes. But now people are feeding for a more pure version of Christianity, true Christianity. And it's really unfortunate that just Jordan Peterson has not moved. And of course, he hasn't even talked about some of the more important topics either. But that probably has to do with his contract with the Daily Wire, right? I shudder to even think that he has looked into it, if you know what I'm talking about.